Thank you, conference. I wanted to start this session with some reflections on the kind of political themes of our time and our role in them. A kind of our tasks and methods for the 2020s, you might say. There is no doubt that the world is changing, and it's changing rapidly, with the old political order breaking down, both inside individual countries and internationally. People do sense that. And we hear all these terms like the vibe shift, the new paradigm, the addition of kind of post, neo, new, or online to any of the old terms. But I think whilst we might not be able to put a proper name to it, we can all kind of sense that all that is solid is melting into air. Now that's unsettling and disorientating for everyone. It means that talking about anything is difficult because we no longer have a shared language, perhaps not even at times a shared reality. And the things that are dear to us as social democrats, family, community, nation, are especially difficult to discuss today in polite company. So the family is seen as trauma-inducing or as creating cycles of poverty or crime that need intervention. The word community has been hijacked almost to the extent of making it unusable. Let's talk of the Muslim community or the LGBTQI plus community. These things just describe characteristics, and they often mean special pleading. But by community, we mean the shared purpose and history we have with those we live, work, and enjoy life with. Those collectives and their key attributes of common sense and shared understanding are today seen as anti-scientific, a bit exclusive, requiring some diversity training. And the nation, as we've seen with the discussion on flags, the nation invites terms like jingoism, flag waving, tribalism, words that imply hate, not love. So in these times, people feel, I'd say, not just politically homeless, but profoundly disorientated, profoundly alienated from the society that they live in. And as people look around for solutions, many have reached for Gramsci's quote that the old is dying and the new struggles to be born. But for us, this means a time of unprecedented opportunity. Never has there been a greater need for a homecoming, for a party that can take people home. But we need to stand firmly on our principles and not just hang on to the coattails of general populism. Our core values need to be non-negotiable. Progress, energy abundance, building houses, driving forward science and innovation, rebuilding Britain. The national interest. It's Britain we need to rebuild, not work to a globalist agenda. Individual autonomy and freedom, things that are really under fire in our current world. And real democratic control of our institutions, even if we might not all agree on how we get that democratic control back. So we need to build a movement based on those values, a movement that coheres people together rather than dividing them. So we need to reject things like intergenerational conflict, the London, not London divide, the identity politics of either the left or the right variety. We need to accept that there are some conscience issues on which we may disagree, but that don't prevent us from working together to build a unified and serious party. Now, within those constraints, We need to be prepared to experiment and take some risks. We don't need to be constrained by the old political formats or the way things have always been. So if you have any crazy ideas, please just raise them. And we need to be courageous. We have a proud history of this. We argued for leaving the ECHR, and we argued against gender ideology a long time before those things were even acceptable and never mind fashionable. But there are some huge battles ahead of us with the institutions, with the old order. Back to Gramsci, the old world is dying and the new struggles to be born. And in this twilight, monsters emerge. We need to be ready to fight those monsters. That means we need to step up to the plate. As the title of this session says, game on. But what does that mean for us? What does it mean for you? Well, I think there are some things we need to stop doing. We need to stop saying we just need to wait for reform to mess it all up. We need to stop saying that what we think is what everybody thinks, and instead we need to go out and prove that by signing people up. We need to stop saying people don't join parties when it's evident that they're joining others in large numbers. We need to stop saying this is the way it's always been. The world has been stuck in a post-war rut for 80 years, but there's everything now to play for. And we need to stop saying we only get breakthroughs when we have national media coverage. That's only true because we don't do anything else, which is why Sebastian raised that challenge this morning of let's get out there and do more in the public arena. In other words, we need to get out of the changing room and onto the pitch. And when I say we need, I mean you need. We've got some fantastic Stakhanovite workers doing masses of unpaid and often underappreciated work in the party. I look around this room and I see lots of people doing that. I know I don't know all the good things that people are doing in the party, but just to mention a few maybe. Ken has not just organised this conference, but he's worked all year round on Nation Builder. I always see him in my head as Terry Butcher. You know that picture of Terry Butcher with the blood coming out of his head and the bandages, but he's not giving up. He's refusing to give up. I see Max is here somewhere, doing lots of work on policy work, making graphics for us, trying to sharpen up our election data, running the X account till recently, and I kind of see him as kind of staggering around like Monty Python's Black Knight, going, it's only a flesh wound, I'm fine, I can get up. I see Stephen, don't know where he is now, it's hard to see out of here, trying to get that new version of the rules over the line. He's kind of like Stevie Gerrard going, we go again, we will get these rules sorted out. And I see Adam Hibbert trying to get a new policy over the line, a bit like Derek Redmond. Do you remember that? He's limping and leaning on his dad, but determined to finish. And I think Wendy's already had a shout out. Let me give Wendy another shout out. She's always happy to do whatever random job we ask of her, phoning unknown contacts on Nation Builder to get them to join the party, stuffing envelopes, making cups available on the merchandise store, let me mention that while I remember, ringing round our members to make sure face-to-face events happen. I see her as our kind of Beryl Burton, the unheard of person who dominated cycling for 3 decades. So thank you to all those people.